beautiful Friday morning. Can't believe it's already July 19th. Another summer that's going to vanish or evaporate right before our eyes. With Colleen Bennett of CBB Design Firm and Mimosa Home. CBB Design Firm, which is led by the magical Colleen Bennett, with a legacy of over 17 years, sets the standard for excellence in residential and commercial spaces worldwide. With a unique blend of expertise in architecture, interior design, and logistics, CBB offers a full-service experience transforming visions into breathtaking realities. Colleen, what an honor to be speaking with you. How are you doing today?
Hey, Judd, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Sorry there's so much noise in the back, but we have people are calling, so it is what it is.
I understand. So, a female entrepreneur, design, motherhood, faith, marriage and relationships, being a boss. These are the topics I was given. I love them all. What are the most important to you?
Being a mom. I think being a mom's pretty cool, besides being an entrepreneur. It's learning to raise three daughters. I grew up in a family of three girls, and I have to manage a lot of hats. I've done international, major corporate, managed about 40 to 60 people worldwide, and still get to come home and have to put that mom hat on to three people that I can't manage at all.
And I would imagine, I've never thought of it this way, but the way that you just so aptly and succinctly, very quickly described it, I would imagine being a mom, being a mother, would help you be a great entrepreneur.
It is because, you've got challenges. You've got to deal with things on the fly. I've got my middle daughter actually has epilepsy and had
I'm sorry.
a form of genetic epilepsies in the world. It's called U2AF2. And we ended up in the hospital for 200 days, and I still had to work.
200 days?
Yeah. Over the past 9 years, that poor kid has been in and out of every hospital, has been connected to tubes, almost died a couple times, has, ridden in probably about 20 different ambulances. So, as an entrepreneur,
Wow.
you have to learn different fields, right? You have to learn medicinal. You have to, by
Yeah.
having a child,
No,
I
I
have
think,
to learn
yeah,
genetic coding. I've had to learn all
I,
this stuff. And I think being an entrepreneur really helped me, get through all of that, if that makes sense.
I completely understand that. And I think that, and take this as one of the biggest compliments I can give is I am not a parent, besides two little 9-pound dogs that I have. But I've
They count.
they're little.
On that, you still take care of them. They're still alive.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, they're. But that being said, it's one thing for a father to have children, but for a mom, it's completely different. It's a whole different relationship, and I've learned that over the years in having friends that are amazing mothers, and it's just a bond that it's almost unexplainable. It's really incredible. So kudos to you, and that's an amazing story about your daughter. And so you started. Well, no. Let me rephrase the question that Georgina sent. And I know the answer to this to a certain extent, but I'd love to hear it from you. But starting to a certain extent, an essence of your business and operating during the pandemic, if that's an important question to you, but what was that like?
Would you mind repeating that? Sorry, there was a little bit of a noise.
No worries. So, operating during the pandemic, while you were also now coordinating with your daughter, what was that like?
Oh, let's see. Well, I was working at Ralph Lauren, being their head of their account manager for like all of Latin America, Australia, and Africa, and decided they wanted to go a different way. I wanted to go a different way. So I made a huge different change and started my design practice literally on March 20th.
Yeah.
the day
Oh,
of
so you
pandemic.
decided to start it when the pandemic was announced.
Oh, like day of. I have a history of doing things like when recessions hit and all this, and then my daughter's got this massive issue going on, and they had just identified her genetic marker. So they're sitting there going, "Oh my God, you've identified this genetic marker. I'm starting this new practice. I'm trying to figure out all of her stuff, getting her to and fro. How do I handle this? Well, why don't we just start, the Epilepsy Foundation
I know.
here?
I'll just start a
Nothing.
business.
Yeah, I'll start a business and I'll start a epilepsy foundation for North Carolina so I can get this going. All during pandemic. Sounds like a great idea. Um, you know, it was nuts, but it kept me level headed during all the crazy.
Yeah.
When
Yeah. Yeah.
my logistics company people called in that they couldn't come in during pandemic, and I'm having to move 10,000 pounds of furniture by myself in the back of my 20,000 square foot warehouse. Then making sure my daughter's making it to all these virtual things, then trying to come in on it, and then trying to spread awareness as best you can, and who knew pandemic was going to be the best time to open up interior design practice? I went from 6 clients to 150 in 2 years. It was crazy.
Exactly.
You know, I didn't want to go in and out of people's houses, but I did. I mean, you were just kind of like, you never know what you were going to do. It was a very weird and surreal moment.
Well, you are in that. It was actually a genius time. So kudos to start your CBB design firm. No, I mean that because I had to take a step back and analyze because there were many types of our clients that they didn't know what was going to happen, and they did get dinged. You know, many of our luxury clients, but those that immediately, well, I wouldn't say immediately, but pretty quickly began to see an uptick and flourish were in home design,
Sure.
such as yourself. Luxury real estate, of course, had one of the biggest surges that it's ever had in human history. And so, no, kudos to you. You obviously have a knack for. So now you just hope for the next recession.
I mean, I opened my first design practice in Costa Rica the day Bear Stearns crashed. Like,
Huh.
literally, my husband and I opened up our practice. I think we had $6,000, 150 grand in debt across from a chicken, a donkey, and a turkey, so we could afford. And all of a sudden, we're watching the TV, like watching MSNBC, and we're like, the Haynes bottom. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? Why did we do this in Costa Rica? This is a bad idea. And it turned out to be the best thing we'd ever done. You
Congratulations.
know, we did that. We ended up in Nicaragua, Honduras, Ecuador, Colombia. But we did it always we opened up Honduras the day of the new president. We had to lock our store down because there was a mob. I mean, that's what I'm just talking about. Like, whenever there's a recession, whenever there's a pandemic, or I decide to get pregnant, that's when I open businesses. So,
You know what you just reminded me of with that story is I like certain types of movies, and you just reminded me of I don't know if you've seen it, but the beginning of the great. It's a very Hollywood film, but Brad Pitt and Angelina in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they're down in like the Honduras or something.
oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've done some dictators' houses, and some people wanted by the DEA. I can't complain. Everything was legit. Just in case anybody's listening, it was all wire transfer. All's good. Everything matches my invoices.
People will be listening. They're not right now. It's pre-recorded, but they will be listening.
But we've done some really cool houses. With some really interesting people.
So let me ask you this, Colleen, and I love your attitude. It's fantastic. And I agree with everything you've been saying. And it's that perseverance. And that's what defines a true entrepreneur is how do you stay positive in the face of failure? Not necessarily in terms of starting a business. Like we can, I'm a serial entrepreneur too. So we can start a business at any time. But, you've got on the right hand, you've got your amazing daughter who obviously has persevered significantly in her own right, thanks to you. But just to hear what you said, she's endured is incredible. How many ambulance trips did you say?
I'd probably say 2022. I mean,
Amazing,
but
amazing.
it's not just me. It's my husband. It's our family. It's our community. You know what
Right.
I mean? I make sure awareness is a part of it. But we've been through failure on that, and let me be. I mean, it always sounds beautiful when you're talking to an entrepreneur, but I've failed multiple times.
Every
I've had
great
very,
entrepreneur, every great entrepreneur fails.
oh my god, like I could tell you businesses not to do, how not to do them, or how about how to lose like $180,000 overnight. You know what I mean? Like um,
I do know what you mean.
where you
Yes.
know that when we say explicatives on your podcast, it was like an OS moment. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, I gave birth to my last daughter, and then the Nicaraguan Revolution happened, and May 30th, 2018, it was Mother's Day, and our buddy Ortega decided to take all the Social Security money from the Nicaraguans because him and his wife have spent it all. So why not go after Social Security? It's sitting there. So they did that, and they marched, and they shot and killed mothers on Mother's Day, and then
Wow.
they started dropping bodies, and then half my clients fled Nicaragua overnight. Gone, gone. There you are, and you're like, how am I gonna wait? They're not coming back. We have outstanding stuff.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, no, they're gone.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You still gotta pay it.
Well, if you can find them.
I know, but I still have to pay it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. You still do.
You
Yeah.
only took deposits.
Right.
Like, oh, crap. And then you're in international, and then you realize international credit, international law, you're an entrepreneur. You don't think about those things. You know, you're in at that point in time when I started that company, I was in my 20s.
Were you in Nicaragua?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
was in the United States, but you didn't realize 10 years later that all those things had to be established when you started it 10
Right.
years ago in order for that to happen. So, yeah,
Wow.
I don't know many people who can come up with that and take care of that because it was all due. It was crazy.
So how did you push through that?
Faith. I mean,
Hmm.
faith and just put my nose down to the grinder and was like, I will figure out a way to take care of this. I can do this. I don't ever think I thought I was going to fail, but I knew that this had failed. Does that make sense? Like the business had failed, but I personally wasn't going to fail.
Right.
So it was like it didn't matter what I did. I was going to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And then to hit with the pandemic, like right after that, there was like, okay, now I've had this, and now I've got that, and it's like now I'm changing my whole life, and now I'm starting this other business. You know, my husband's a serial entrepreneur, and he started a hotel on March 5th. We checked into our first hotel, shut down March 20th. It
Mm-hmm.
was crazy. I mean, you just kind of sit there and go, and now it's the number one performing, close to you on the Eastern Seaboard.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to dig deep. I mean, I'm sure you've been there where you're just looking at it going, and it's all on you. It's not on anybody else.
Oh, I know. This is, yeah.
You don't get to point a finger and be like, it's all your. No, you turn that finger and you point it at yourself.
That's
go,
exactly
okay,
right. That's exactly right. And if you have an off day or an off month,
dude,
it's all on you.
it's all on you, and there's nobody there. I mean, you have your team. My team is amazing. But like at the end of the day, if the business failed, it'd be on me. It wouldn't be on them.
Oh no, and you owe them. You know they have to
Yeah.
perform, but it's all on you, 100%. Yeah.
And I feel like you can get really negative really fast. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I went there. I mean, you sit at the bottom of that barrel and you're like, dang, not like that type of barrel, but you're sitting at the bottom and you're just looking up, going, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Like, why me? And you have your why me cry session.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Yeah.
You sit there and hug yourself like,
Yeah.
and then you say, as I always say, just get my big girl panties up, let's roll. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's other avenues, there's other things. I'm gonna have to just work triple. You know what I mean? So I would get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and work on my clients. I mean, it was myself and my architect in Nicaragua and 2 people in the back of my warehouse, and I literally worked the jobs of probably 8 people.
Yep.
In order to dig myself out, get to where I needed to be, and then expand. But I did that for like 2 to 3 years. It wasn't like just overnight. That was like blood, sweat, tears.
But aren't you glad you did it because you realize you can do it and it defines
Sure.
you?
Sure. And if it ever happened again, I would know I'd be okay. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
exactly right. Yep.
but that it's also retraining the mind about what's stress. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to make sure, because that's a lot of cortisol. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had an entrepreneur cortisol where you're just like, ooh.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like
Oh
the
yeah.
seat of your pants, and then sometimes you feel like you're building the airplane as you're flying.
Yeah.
and it could, and
That's
it
a
gets there. It gets there. And sometimes you've built the airplane so it's like just rock solid and it rolls. Do you know what I mean? But you just, I don't know. I love what I do and I love what we're in. I mean, I
yeah,
want to.
absolutely. I like to use not to use another movie reference, but just like Tom Cruise in Top Gun and just the jets flying, and it's like I don't care what's coming at me, just press the throttle down and go.
Yeah, I kind of like the Richard Branson School of Business. Say yes and figure it the F out later.
A dear, since you brought up Branson, and we're talking entrepreneurship for a minute, and then we're going to jump into the amazing CBB design firm, which is cbbdesignfirm.com, is a dear friend of mine. He and client, but dear friend, he owns a seaplane company down in it goes between Miami and the Bahamas, and he left the Navy, and he didn't know what to do, and so he was or bike riding, whatever, with his friends in Italy, and he said to them, "I think I'm going to open a seaplane company," and they all said, "Oh, you're out of your mind, you're insane," and he took it in, and then he went home, or he got back from that trip, and he read Branson's uh, what is that book? It's Screw It, Just Do It.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and he took it to heart, and now it's become the largest seaplane operation in the world.
That's incredible, and congrats to him. And yeah, I am definitely of the Branson school of thought, which is kind of like how we went from 6 to 150 clients. Is that
That's
everything?
amazing, by the way.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
technology. So we do everything in 3D. Everything has been in 3D since my husband and I started it in 2000.
Yeah, I see that you do everything through 3D
Yeah,
renderings and videos, right?
that, and then we do super high poly. Like so, understanding 3D assets, understanding how they're made, understanding how to use that with architecture. So we can do. I mean, we're doing like 25,000 square foot houses.
And you work in
That
direct coordination with builders, right?
yeah, actually, builders come. We actually have builders coming to us to work with us or for us. We have 3 dedicated builders that work for our firm, which is crazy. It's not the other way
I don't
around.
think I've ever heard that in interior design.
Yeah. So what we do is I got so tired of running around. I buy everything at wholesale, and then I
Right.
mark it up 35%. So say for example, client wants to buy a sofa at retail, it's $3,000, but I'm going to get it for 1,000, and they're going to buy it at 13.50, and I charge by the hour. So they may get huge savings. So like, you know, you could get a whole house worth of furniture for like $120,000 as opposed to $300,000.
Right.
So I took that model and I went into kitchen and bath, and so I now do. I
Which
have
has
my
some
own.
very strong profit margins.
Yes. So I now take that same concept and I do it with 8 kitchen and bath lines. I got Cambria, Cosentino,
Mm-hmm.
Walker Zanger Tile, Dow Tile, all of those brands, some big name flooring, and I got construction materials, which is not heard of ever in an interior design firm. I'm the only one that can actually purchase it at wholesale. So I'm able to ship around the world, and I have my logistics company. So it all kind of like worked its way up. This verticalization of my company that started 20 years ago kind of came to this apex of now I can get anything for the home, outside, inside, roofing, you name it, wholesale, and save my clients thousands of dollars. And then I work with these builders, and they come in, and the client is saving so much money because typically a builder would go and buy something at like a 1.7 markup and then put another 20% on top of it. Well, now you're getting it at 1.35. They put it at 20%, you're getting it at 1.5. So think about how much savings that client's getting, and they're getting better product. So
You're quite a savant, Colleen. Truly, we work with a number of interior designers, home and design firms, architect firms and whatnot. But I don't think I've ever spoken to someone such as you that operates, as you put it, vertically. But I'd say vertically and horizontally. and basically has the umbrella over everything. It's pretty impressive. Kudos.
Well, imagine having to get your house done in 4 hours. Imagine the time and savings you're having instead of having to run here and run there. We've already got it done. And then you see it in 3D and we can change it. Oop, we don't like that green. Let's change it to blue.
And
Fine.
people can go to cbbdesignfirm.com and see your 3D renderings and videos, right?
Yep. And then we do everything virtually. So you could be, I mean, we have clients in Mustique in the Caribbean. We did a whole house.
I just lived in the Caribbean for a year and a half.
Oh, cool. So we do a bunch down in the islands. And so, like, we did everything with this client from here in North Carolina. I mean, I do that with clients in Australia, all over the world. It didn't matter where you are because basically the brands that I have, the client can go in and go look at immediately, or I can just ship them the samples and it takes 2 seconds. And they're like, oh, sign off, go, I think that's how pandemic allowed this to, you take something so bad and you see the positive in it, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, it revolutionized the luxury real estate industry. It revolutionized your industry. It changed the legal industry to a certain extent. There's always not always, but there can be a silver lining. And I think there were many silver linings from the pandemic, especially in certain industries. It pushed people to not be as archaic as they had been in business for quite some time and to innovate and revolutionize themselves or put their tail between their legs and, walk away, which is fine. But it defined the true entrepreneurs such as yourself from those that just, that was it,
Yeah. I mean, I kind of define it as if you've got grit or you don't have grit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's a good way to put it. I think
there's nothing mean about it. It's like, can you hold on? There's always, I don't know if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, where it's
no, I have not.
Andrew Carnegie and basically that was his person who set out to do how Andrew Carnegie became rich. He gave them his 13 principles, and one of them was this story about how this family was 3 feet away from the largest gold mine vein, and they knew it. They thought it was there, but the vein moved. And had they just gone the last 3 feet, they would have been insane. Instead, they sold all their stuff, gave it to another person who hired an engineer and came in right after them and blew it out of the water, and they found it. It's that last 3 feet when it gets like, when you're really close to being like,
oh yeah,
it's like everything pushes against you.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I know exactly what you mean.
And you just have to sit there. And that's why I say you have to have that grit for like that last 3 feet.
You have to have the grit. That's what grit is a great word, Colleen, and it defines a true entrepreneur. There are millions upon millions of people on the planet that will call themselves an entrepreneur, but a true entrepreneur is the one that, and you will fail, as you said. I'm not saying you will, but I said as an entrepreneur, a person will fail. But if you believe and you keep going, for example, when in March of 2020, when you decided to open up your business with 3 daughters, again, kudos, amazing, and that is such a profound story with respect to what your daughter with epilepsy has gone through. But when you decide to do that, it was one magazine at the time, and I said, huh. And all of a sudden, all these clients are canceling contracts, etc., because they say the world's ending. And I said, what are you talking about? And I said, it's like a flu. And I said, no, it's not. And anyways, but instead, I turned it into now 14, 15 magazines. And I'm not making this podcast about me, but it's about you.
Oh, that's amazing. No, that's seriously, kudos to you right back. I mean, that's.
And one of the first, sorry to interject, but also what I did is, and I said, you have to innovate, you have to get better. And I created a podcast, and it's the reason you are on the phone speaking right now, because I decided I want to speak to genius people, clients, or, you and I are not currently clients, but perhaps we will become working together on that level. And regardless if we don't, it's an honor and pleasure to speak with you. but you decide that it's time to, whether it's open a new business as you did or innovate your current business. And I think one of the most important things that you've said is because there are I can't even guess how many, quote unquote interior design firms, etc., there are on the planet, let alone in the United States. But again, I've never spoken to one that does what you do and encompasses and goes about it with the strategic analyzation that you do, and is able to then provide to your clients and potential clients what you provide. So kudos right back to you. It's like we're playing kudos tennis.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I always think, you get those aha moments, right? Like
yeah, I love that term.
Like those signals. I mean, I definitely believe in manifestation. I definitely think you can manifest. Like,
Absolutely.
Your thoughts are your total thing. So
yeah,
I'll give you one. We have this company called Bute, which happened during pandemic as well. So being an interior designer and I have all this stuff from like Ralph Lauren, from Baker, from Century, from all the high-end brands, you have all these leathers, but they're scraps, right? So I'm about to throw them out in the dumpster, and I've got these solution dyed acrylic, linings from these high-end companies. I'm like, I'm gonna throw this in the this is not even biodegradable. So I'm like, couldn't we make something out of this, right? So as I'm about to thinking of this, in walks this lady who, during the pandemic, some people got laid off. She's like, I could make those into bags, and I was like, let's do that. So the linings are going to be bleach cleanable. The exterior is going to be these leathers made from the same factories as like Prada, Celine, Chloe, all of those. And we made 30 prototypes in a week. We sold them in a week. And then we remade them out of scraps. So it's free scraps. I pay this lady a living wage. We had like 600 followers on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And we ended up on the lap of the lady of Vanity Fair editor in Europe. And we ended up with Condé Nast and Vanity Fair magazine. How crazy is that?
That's amazing.
And we're not from little Podunk, Morganton. I mean, I love Morganton, but we're not in a big city.
Yeah, no, you're not in New York.
No, and we gave back 10% to local charities because during pandemic it was, people weren't giving their stuff, because the world's ending,
Yeah.
So we did like 60 grand and went in 6 months. It was nuts, and we did this like photo shoot. We ended up like on the cover of all this stuff, and it was just kind of cool. It's like those little aha moments. So I always tell people, if you get this aha moment, hold on to it. You know what I mean? See where it goes. It could fail, but at least you said you tried.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, the inevitable is going to happen to all of us, and so so just try.
I went up to the pearly gates. I want to be like, I did that, or I didn't, but I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm ready to rest. I'm ready to be. You know what I mean? Like I've done that. Or when I write,
or at least I tried. At least I tried.
My book will be called "How Not to Do Business."
I was actually just about to say at some point, as it pertains to your industry, and obviously being a savant, and that's not a word you can toss around lightly, you should write a book at some point.
I do. Again, that's that little moment where I want to talk about it, like about how not to do business. Like this is how you should not do this. Or maybe if you're in the right place, again, it's kind of nuts. And when I look back, and I'm 42, right? I look back and go, oh my God, I did that in like 21 years. My next is like, what's my next step? You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I'm kind of at right now as an entrepreneur, is taking myself to that next step.
Yeah. I've been there recently as well, mentally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's preparing yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
Totally mentally. And it's like, okay, now you've achieved what you wanted to do really quickly. What do you want to do next?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You're very well spoken, by the way, Colleen.
Well, thank you.
No, you are. And you're, I'm so very humble and grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you. And I hope we get to speak again. It's, and any client that has the opportunity to have Colleen Bennett of CBB Design Firm, cbbdesignfirm.com. To work with Colleen is whether you're in the Hamptons or New York or Miami Beach, Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Malibu, San Diego, Aspen, Dubai, you name it. You will be so very humble and grateful as well that you perhaps heard this or come across her and have the opportunity to work with this amazing woman.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that, and we've worked in all those places, so we'd love to do some more.
I'm pretty sure you were going to say that you've worked in all of those. I guess I could keep naming them. Sydney, Australia. That one?
Yep. Yeah, I've done. I was did all the stuff at David Jones in a bunch of houses and throughout Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. I've been going back.
Oh, look, you knew how to say it correctly. Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. Trust me. I mean, there, New Zealand. I mean, I've worked in over 68 countries. And Russia. I mean, fabulous, cool architecture. Obviously, with things going on, not so awesome, but.
Yeah, well, that's just the world.
We've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah.
It's been cool though. It's been a cool life.
Yeah, but as an entrepreneur, what's very cool, along with creating the family that you've created with what I'm guessing is an amazing husband and with your 3 daughters, is well, it takes an amazing person to accomplish what you've accomplished and to have the visions that you have and to have but then again, we can all have a vision like, oh, I'm going to write a book. Well, okay, do it. But then no one ever does. And you could have had all these inspirations, visions or whatnot as it pertains to your industry, but then never really done anything about it because most people don't. And that also is what defines true entrepreneurs from those that aren't. Is anyone can come up with an idea, but it's, do you have the audacity and the tenacity and the inspiration to do it?
No, I 150% agree with you.
And Colleen Bennett of CBB Design Firm, cbbdesignfirm.com, absolutely does. And if you ever have the opportunity to speak with this woman and her firm, which she started on day 1 of the pandemic, because that's when typically people start a business and then turn it into a successful monster of a business, and over deliver for her clients, provide them the best products and service at prices that they would not, I'm guessing, potentially get elsewhere, is going to be so very fortunate. And thank you, Colleen, so very much for your time. I would love to speak with you all day, but I'm sure you have 500 million things to do, including probably starting a new business in a country that's going through a revolution.
Sounds about right. I'm trying not to laugh back here. No, but Dad, thank you so much for having me on your podcast, and congratulations to all that you've done. And again, making 14 magazines in the middle of pandemic and this podcast, and thanks for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. I love the conversation. It was great.
Thank you. I loved it as well, and I mean that with every fiber of my being. And this will be uploaded on our site, of course, and then also on, as people know that are listening or new listeners. Oh, and we actually tend to have a lot of podcast downloads out of Australia for some reason. I don't know why, but thank you, Aussies. And I will get the links over to Georgina to send to you, and it'll be on Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, Apple, Google, etc. It will be everywhere you can find one of the greatest podcasts that I've ever had the honor of doing with Colleen Bennett of CBB Design Firm, cbbdesignfirm.com. Colleen, have a great weekend. Enjoy it with your husband, your daughters, and I look forward to hopefully getting to speak with you again.
Yeah, same here. Have a great weekend. And
Thanks. Take care. Bye.